Tom Brady with the Raiders. And when I first read it, I was like, oh, here he goes. Because, he was in the interview and,
Yeah.
hey, would you rule out coming to play for the Dolphins? Oh, well, I've got a lot of good friends in Miami. But now this is official. Earlier, Tom Brady bought a stake in the Las Vegas Aces. Now he is going into the league he just retired from a few months back, looking to be a limited partner. I think more minority stake in the Las Vegas Raiders. So, Bryson, now that Brady's got his hands in two NFL teams, or not two NFL teams, now that he's got his hands in, two Vegas teams, one basketball team, Lord, one football team. Do you think that Brady is using this possibly for a way back into the league? Not that he needs to get any connections for a way back into the league, but could this be something like very beginning domino, Brady's maybe more heavily considering coming back? We've had no reports, but the way he did us last time, man, you can't trust this guy now.
No, listen, I really genuinely thought he was done last time. So I was very, very cautious on how to go about it and be like, oh, he's done. But I sort of go back to a couple things. The first is when he made the initial retirement announcement. I remember talking about it in my show and playing the clip. There was a lot of finality to it, right? Like it's just him on the beach saying like he's done, and he used the words for good, like he's done for good. And then you have numerous interviews he's done, certain messages he sent on social media anytime there's been any kind of rumors about Miami or like you mentioned Vegas in this situation. Even there were some rumors about potentially a reunion in New England, and he's been pretty outside of the one thing you talked about with the Dolphins. He's been pretty clear about like I really am done. Like I'm just taking a year off. I want to spend time with my kids. I'm sure invest in his business ventures off the field. That feels like kind of his focus right now. I think this year took a lot out of Tom. Everything that happened professionally and personally. I think he's using this opportunity to focus on business, focus on his kids, and just kind of take a year off from football before he potentially goes to Fox next year.
Yeah, and I think I even saw a report too that was saying that Brady would not let this venture or whatever really come in place of the Fox deal. There were reports as well of Brady maybe having second thoughts on that Fox deal, kind of mulling, what would happen over it if he were to make this venture. But I got to say, first and foremost, I'm proud of Brady for taking this move. This is something probably a lot of people knew that he was going to do. And this is one of the things I love about sports is we know that, as the game is played, it can relate to relationships and how you can rely on people. But seeing people, because in my opinion, all professional athletes are entrepreneurs. You're going out, you're building a brand off of your, physical abilities in your body, going to play for a team that you get an agent for to go under contract with. So when that whole phase is over with and the physical abilities are done, you're Tom Brady, you're 45, you're LeBron after year 27 or whatever, right? What is it going to be like for them to transition into this next phase of business, essentially? We saw Kobe do it, God rest his soul, becoming one of the best to do it off the court. We saw what he was on the court, the detail that has now respectfully been taken over by, I think Peyton Manning's done it. I think Kyrie's done it a time or two, when they talk about the basketball study clips. We've seen Michael Jordan clearly. I think he was in talks or rumors to sell, the Charlotte team, which he wasn't necessarily, or is it?
No, he actually already did. Well, it's already up, but he was selling the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah,
right. So we've got those things that happen, but we know Jordan still makes 8-9 figures a year off his shoe deal. So knowing that Brady, he's got the TB12 brand, he's got the supplements, is now moving into this sports franchise investor. It doesn't put him in a new realm, but I'm excited to see the reputation and just overall how he is going to establish himself off the field. And I really think, again, when you look at the Tiger Woods and then and how LeBron's already established it, and Kobe, God rest his soul, and Michael Jordan, I think Tom Brady, knowing the status that he had, knowing how successful he was, and just the winning mentality in the NFL, believe he could get on the status of like a Mark Wahlberg, maybe a Rock, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, in just terms of how he carries himself and moves in the business life. And not trying to go too deep on it, but just how Brady literally could make those moves into that part of the world. And it's just going to add more to what he did for the game, what he's doing for people outside of the game. And I'm sure Tom Brady's already got a foundation that he's a part of and that he contributes to. We kind of know that the whole loophole there for the wealthy, but I am excited to see Brady go in and just overall, you're not really anything from what I've seen. you're not really seeing anything from him on it. It's more of the reports that are having it come out. So you do believe that Brady is now, we're even working with his agent, Don Yee, I believe, to get everything ironed out, you know? Michael
Yeah,
Darby says, and Tom Brady been Darby, you got to be trolling. I'm not even going to read that one on the show, Bryson. I don't know if you can see it. That is
I can see it.
hilarious, though. Tom Brady talking with somebody. Who knows?
Oh
That would
man.
be interesting.
But
Don't
I'll
know if
tell you
that would.
something too. Something too you brought something too you brought up.
Uh,
You were talking about Brady and off the field, and I've compared him to, uh, or at least post retirement. I think he's gonna have a post retirement that's gonna look a lot like Kobe's in terms of the
yes.
same work ethic, the same aggressiveness that he brought on the field. Why on
Yep.
earth would we think that's gonna change whatsoever off the
Right.
field in terms of his business? Like you mentioned, every athlete individually is a business. Like they,
Yep.
their body is their temple, their inner circle, everything. So what Tom Brady's been able to do off the field just to this point while still playing, while at the very highest level into his mid 40s.
Yep.
Now that he's got full time to commit to this, man, sky's the limit for him. Absolutely.
Right. And I'm hoping, I know it's minority stake. Reports are saying that he wants it to be very passive. So we know this is strictly a business move. I just want to make an extra couple hundred grand, couple million a year just off this little investment. It would be nice if Brady did escalate and kind of go up that ladder in ownership, and maybe his hands don't have to be completely tied into it. But if you're telling me that the greatest football player of all time is buying minority stake in my team, I'm probably looking to have conversations with that guy, see what he can provide, seeing if maybe he wants to move up in terms of ownership, maybe just
Sure.
being in the draft room on draft night. I mean, the knowledge he
Absolutely.
could bring to the table, and we've seen the Raiders, Mark Davis, John Gruden, the Henry Ruggs situation, a lot of noise around this franchise. A lot of noise around the Broncos franchise. They get sold. A lot of crazy things are happening. I think this is going to be a very down year for the Raiders. So maybe this is a right move, right time for Tom Brady to actually come in and take this minority stake in the Raiders.